This is Damien Torres. This is episode 8 of BreakIN. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for the enormous amount of support. Thank you for sharing the channel, the videos on various forms of social media. It's grateful and it's very worthwhile. We're doing a series, of course, to help artists and anybody who's interested in trying to break into the comic industry. And to help ourselves also. And just by seeing the amount of support that we're getting, it means a lot to us. And thank you for everything. So this past weekend, I was at Special Edition New York City. It's a convention, a comic convention that now takes place annually in June. It's like a secondary New York Comic Con. It's much smaller scale, focusing more on the artists and the creators and the writers, rather than the pop culture side of things like the movies, which is why a lot of people go to New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con these days. It was a great experience. This is the second year it's happened, and it was a lot bigger than the one last year. There's a lot more creators to talk to, a lot of people there, but just enough where if you want to talk to a specific artist or a writer, you can go up to them with no problems, no lines you had to wait. It was a lot of fun, and I was with a friend of mine by the name of James Bassett, who is actually an aspiring comic writer. So this time around, I talked to a lot of writers rather than artists, and it was interesting to get their perspective on things. Especially because you got to keep in mind, writers work with a lot of different artists, so they've seen a lot of different art styles. They see what works best for their stories, and it's a lot of insight from a writer's point of view, and their feedback is just as justifiable as speaking to an artist or an editor. So I met a lot of great people. For the first time, like Joe Kelly, Steve Siegel. Saw some old friends like Marguerite Bennett, whose popularity has completely skyrocketed. She was a graduate of the Sarah Lawrence School, and she was taught by Scott Snyder. And she made her big break in comics about, I'd say, 2 years ago now. And seeing her growth from then till now, it's just been tremendous. Recently, A-Force #1 came out. It's a Marvel comic. It's a series within the Secret Wars event that's going on right now, and it's an all-female Avengers team. And she did a signing at the local comic shop I usually go to, the Spider's Web, and it completely sold out there. And seeing how many people come by at the convention with copies of A-Force and other things she has written, like Angela. It's great to see, because this is somebody I personally know, and hopefully every one of us here in this group will have the same experience. I saw fellow QBs, recent graduates, and old teachers like Fernando Ruiz, who right now is working on RG vs. Predator. And his table was set up next to Alex DeCampi, who is the writer on the book. So I definitely recommend, if you're wanting to break in the industry, to attend conventions, bring your portfolios, prepare yourselves, be ready to get torn apart. It's gonna happen. These are guys who work in the industry, and they know what it's like. They've been in our shoes, they've been in your shoes, and they know what it takes to get to where they are now. So take their advice, take their critiques, and try to talk to as much people as possible. Your favorite artists, your favorite writers. I definitely recommend trying to find editors. Artists, again, they do what we do. So it's good to get information from them, but if you're looking for work, editors are the way to go. There's video somewhere on YouTube where somebody's interviewing Adam Hughes, and he talks about how a lot of up-and-coming artists come up to him. They get their critiques, but then they're hoping he's going to get them work. It doesn't necessarily work that way. The editors are the ones who hire people. The artists don't. They might, help you get into contact with other people, but it's the editors you want to talk to. So keep that in mind. Go to conventions. Have your work readily available, and relax. Get your first interview done, your first critique. After that, smooth sailing. I've been there. Aries, Ernesto, Dropper, Lloyds have been there also. We know what it's like. In our first year at Cuber, I'm sure all of us got torn apart from different artists and different, comic creators. We got used to it from being in the Cuber school. Every assignment we would get critiqued from the teacher and our classroom in general. So we pretty much have like unbreakable steel skin at this point. And getting torn apart early on brings in a lot of building blocks for yourself later on. I've taken a lot of the information I've gotten, and I've seen my own improvement. I've seen the improvement from the other guys here. And, you got to think about it this way. The artists who break in, if you listen to early Jim Lee or even the Cuberts, there's a lot of videos you can find on YouTube with these artists. And they talk about how it was for them trying to break in. You can look up online and see all the rejection letters that Jim Lee got, for example. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of persistence and a lot of perseverance. So, keep these things in mind. Prepare for rejection. Prepare to get torn. And, the more you do it, the more you take this advice and information, the better you'll get. You'll see your own improvement. Lloyd mentioned in his video on Monday that he's going to set up a DeviantArt account and possibly a Tumblr and possibly an Instagram. Social media has become a very important tool for all of us. You watch videos, again, as I mentioned earlier, with like all the artists that are working today. They didn't have that advantage when they were trying to break in. Everything was sending mails out, sending letters, meeting these people face to face. Nowadays we have the internet. We have emails. We have Facebook. We have Tumblr, DeviantArt, Instagram, Twitter, and all these guys are on there too. So it's important to manage these different social media sites and utilize it. I know a lot of people worry these days because you're seeing things online all the time where somebody swipes another person's artwork or they outright steal it and like claim it as their own. It's a double-edged sword with the internet, but I mean, if somebody's going to steal your artwork and try to claim it as their own, it's going to happen anyway. You can't control all of it. You can't monitor all of it. So, do your best to like watermark your work to protect it. But also look at it this way too. The ones that are stealing, they eventually get caught. And they can't get work using your art because they can't produce the art themselves. So, bite the bullet. Put yourself out there. Like Lloyd mentioned, on Tumblr, there's a lot of editors who look through it. I know Tom Brevoort has a Tumblr account. He's a major editor at Marvel. Brian Michael Bendis is on there. Gail Simone's on there. The first card job that I got was from Cryptozoic, and they actually contacted me to DeviantArt. I guess they saw I had done a bunch of sketch cards for fun in the summer prior to when they first contacted me, and I guess they liked what they saw and they contacted me to do the set for the first Hobbit movie. So, again, social media, like, utilize it. It's a tool. It's an advantage that we have that our favorite artists didn't have when they were starting. Um, I got my first job with Upper Deck through Facebook. I guess they saw my work either through my art page or my personal page, and they contacted me, and that's how I started doing work for Upper Deck. So this week I've been emailing back everybody I've met at the convention. Um, if you talk to people, all these different creators and people who work in the industry, do your best to follow up. Give yourself maybe a couple days or so, and email them as soon as possible. You never know who can get you where. There's editors that I talked to during my time at Hubert that I'm still in contact with now. So next week there's two priorities I need to get to work on. One of them is the new cards that I just received. I'm going to try to do 10 cards per week to meet the deadline. The deadline is July 27th, and I'm not doing as much cards as I usually do. So, as long as I pace myself, I don't have anything to worry about. Aside from that, I received the new sample script from a publisher yesterday. So, I'm going to send that out to the editor as soon as I get the layouts done. The layouts are going to get approved, and from then on, straight to pencils. So that's probably going to be the majority of what I work on for the next couple of weeks or so. And, I'll let you guys know the results of that. And hopefully everything works out well. But, if it doesn't, got to keep trying. And that's something that I hope we can all stress to everybody who watches the video. So that's the end of my little video discussion here. Tune in next Tuesday for Dropper's video, and then Thursday for Aries' video. Once again, my name is Damien Torres, and I hope you guys have a good night.